All right. Welcome to the first and technically best episode of TJ Draws Ponies, the show where TJ sometimes draws ponies. Today I thought it would be fun to just take you through the whole process of how I make a Horsewife comic, and we can just see how the whole thing unfolds. I've got a little Photoshop document open here. I could just scribble on and what have you. And it's pretty small, 11 by 11. This is actual pixels. So we should just dive right in, I suppose. Possibly exposing myself to a little bit of risk of the unexpected. I might have to do a little bit of, editing if the credit card information just pops up on screen or something. But can't imagine that happening. So let's just get right into it. First thing I like to do is check my Tumblr messages, because most of the comics that I make are responses, and I have quite a few messages, especially on Horsewife. A lot of them I have read, and I just think, oh, that'd be a good idea for a comic, and I never get around to it. But even more, I would say I just never even seen, because I get a lot of them. But anyways, let's just start reading through, and anything that strikes me as funny. I see a lot of good ones, but it has to be something. I'm thinking maybe just one panel for now. I don't want to overstep. There's the one that I did before. How about... I saw one up here. Watch out for werewives on the full moon. Werewives. I think that's a good one. We'll go with that one. So, we'll see where that takes me. So I just take a screenshot of that, and I like to just cut that out and maybe scale it up a little bit just so that it's somewhat more readable. Someone once sent me, I apologize, I completely forgot who, but they once sent me a guide on how to take these and make them into a much more readable format, but truth be told, I'm just so lazy that, I never end up doing it. It's fine, it's good, it's fine the way it is, but maybe not. I'm just going to do this ask. I don't usually label all the layers, but I'll usually label this one, and go ahead and create a document. This is where I save all of my things. I tend to name them probably the wrong choice of the word, but like heuristically, so that I can find them. They certainly have some strange names, and only I exactly get the connection between them. But anyways, we'll call this one Werewives. I'll just title this 1. The reason I title it 1 is just because I usually label all the PNGs. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, so that Tumblr automatically, it's been up screen the whole time. Tumblr automatically puts them in the right order. But, so I'll start with some rough sketches, and I like to just set it to a gray tone, and open this up, and I'll enable transfer, and what that does is I'm using a pen tablet, of course, a Wacom, and this allows me to put down transparent lines, and the harder I press, not only the thicker it gets, that's shape dynamics, but also transfer allows it to become slightly more transparent. If I take a bit of color here, I just put it down, and then maybe I'll take another color. You can see that if I press real hard, it's just straight on, but if I just go lightly, there's some transparency. And it could be interesting to take samples from that, and just blend it all in together. Have a grand old time, Anyways, totally aside. So, Werewives. I'm imagining something like a brownie bun who is a werewolf. And I'll start with the classic 3/4 looking this way view, but virtually all of my drawings are. It's something I need to work on. So what are the characteristics of a werewolf? Well, I guess you would have wolf ears. So how would I do that? I guess it would be like slightly shorter, maybe pointier, and then like they go all the way up like that. Maybe like a lot of fur in there. I'm not so sure about that. Something like that. How about we do something like this, and then just like a lot of fur, and then yeah, that works. For the eyes, interesting question. I suppose. Well, wolves don't have like eyes like this, do they? But like sometimes I see werewolves kind of portrayed like that, so I'm not sure. My Diamond Dog character has eyes like that. But that's because Diamond Dogs actually have eyes like that, or at least some of them do, I think. I think I'll just stick with normal eyes. So we'll just fill that in roughly. And I'm imagining... So what are some things that dogs do? Well, my dog loved to eat garbage, for sure. Well, maybe not just like garbage, but go through the garbage looking for food to eat. So maybe somebody's accusing her of eating garbage. Maybe she's eating garbage. I have a tendency to make my dogs into cats. Should I give her a muzzle? Let's give her a muzzle. Oh, dang. It's kind of cute. Maybe. I'm not very good at drawing these sorts of things. How about she's actually looking away suspiciously? Big raised eyebrows of some variety. And then lots and lots of, like the fur motifs. And sharpen that up a little bit. Now, that just looks like some kind of generic furry character, so I gotta make, bubble in my throat. I gotta make it into brownie bun-ish. So, we'll put the pearls on. We'll keep these. Her little, I don't know what to call them, just her hair things. And then, I guess you wouldn't see this, would you? Because it would be something like that. The pearls have never really made a whole lot of sense. You just kind of stick them on. I mean, the people who made the Horsewife plushies, the official one that I have, are available now for only $20. Get yours. And, some of the fan ones, too. I was really impressed with how they handled her hair in 3 dimensions, because a lot of it's just, like, total nonsense. I think you would see a little bit of one here. And what was I saying? She was eating garbage? She had, like, big fangs like this. Nah. Or, how about like a big steak or something instead? I mean, whatever, I'll just draw this thing. Shoot, you know what? What does a steak look like? Like a cartoon steak. Well, it's usually like a T-bone, I think, so it's like... And then it's usually like a thing of fat. Or whatever. It's like a Minecraft piece of Minecraft meat. Yeah, and then just like have some hooves holding it. Something like that. And then maybe we could have kind of a wolfy tail. Difference between a wolf's tail and her tail. I guess I could just make it like really bushy. Doesn't really look like a dog's tail though. How about make it into like a more traditional dog's tail? Yeah, I like that. And then somebody could be like, when I write dialogue, I just scribble it, just to remind me of the idea of what it was. So like, do you know anything about all the garbage that keeps getting eaten? No, that's a weirdly phrased sentence. How about something more like, somebody broke into the, forget the garbage, into the steak factory. How about, vegetarian. Perhaps she has not yet crossed that line. The vegetarian meats factory last night, and then she could just be like, weird. I like that. Yeah, this is good. Just simple. Just one drawing, basically. Okay, so next thing I do is, Horsewife comics are in general, like the artwork is especially simple. And so I set the opacity down a little bit lower, and I create another layer. And I go straight to black, and I'll disable transfer. And I might move this a little bit. Maybe I like her to be kind of off to the side. That's actually further over. Yeah, that's good. So I'll just make first thing. So when I ink stuff, I usually like to kind of do a cheaty sort of, this document is awfully small. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just to make it a little bit sharper. How about maybe 200% sharper? Or sorry, 200, like twice as big. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, when I do line art, I tend to kind of use a cheaty method of line weight. And when you're actually supposed to put the lines down in order to emphasize things that are important, or where shadow should be, or just make them a stronger or closer to the camera or whatever, you put thicker lines, and for less important details and finer details you use thinner lines. And I kind of find a way to simulate the care and attention and skill, and I just outlined the whole thing in a thicker line, generally speaking. Sometimes if it makes more sense, I might carry this down more, I don't know yet. I tend to make a lot of strokes, and I just have the undo button bound directly to the pen, just because I find it just works better to get that line that you like. Rather than because honestly, I am not capable of doing continuations of lines. It's just, it doesn't, you know what I mean? It's got to be one motion. Generally. Sometimes I'll cheat. We'll cheat right here. I'll stick this, and this one's a little tricky. Might have to do a lot of cleanup. The last comic I uploaded, I scaled it up huge to work on it, and I forgot to scale it back down, which allows the sneaky people who, I honestly don't even know how to do it, but they find the full resolution things, and so they upload it to Derpy Brew, and it's no, everyone can see all the terrible mistakes. But of course, everybody knows that there are mistakes there anyways. I think it's very common, and I might just be telling myself this to make me feel better, but I think it's very common for artists to scale their work down in order to make it, like, hide their mistakes. And I have a lot of, honestly, it's one of the biggest things I respect, is when you see an image and it looks amazing, and you click it, and it's just like, to enlarge it, and like the resolution is just enormous. It's ridiculous. I honestly don't know if they're like, are they working even bigger than that and still shrinking it down, or do they just, work in that resolution and just get all those details in there? Because I mean, like, even with this, like, if I zoom in, I can see like all these little defects and stuff like that, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I could go through and like clean this up, but generally speaking, I just don't. Like mistakes like this. I'm getting distracted, so there you go. Oh, see, now that I'm talking about them, I just can't help but see them all over the dang place. I don't think I've ever really printed out much of my artwork. I think I did a Twilight Sparkle Shipfic folder card, a brownie bun card that I printed out. But, I'll put that on screen right now. But other than that, I haven't really printed much stuff out. It's quite nerve-wracking, honestly, to do it, because if it's digital, you can always just fix it. Granted, there's usually a copy on Derpy Brew that has, like, the original typos and stuff, although they're usually good about, like, updating those files. But in print, it's like, that's there, for good. You could print another one, but, you really want to do that? And then, like, I've never sold prints or anything. I just gave those cards all away to anyone who wanted them. Shout out to anyone who met me at BronyCan this year. But if I were to sell them, or any of my artwork, I'd really, I would not want to take somebody's money for a product that has, like, this big, glaring and obvious mistake, like some line out of place or something like that. Just make it's lazy. So just fill in the eye here. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what kind of content I want to stick up on YouTube. I'm sure I'll look back on this and see a lot of mistakes in terms of, like, choice in the style of the video, and probably, like, my speaking will get a little bit better. I don't consider myself to be entirely inarticulate, but I am certainly not a public speaker. Definitely not. My panel at BronyCan was, well, fraught with technical issues, but also, like, oh boy, to be up in front of, a bunch of people and talking, and they're recording it and stuff, it's like, that's like my living nightmare come true. But at the same time, it's like a dream come true, because, I never really imagined anyone would be interested in my artwork. Now, granted, I think probably a lot of people just show up to those panels. I mean, I know I do, just because they're looking for something to do. And, it's a Saturday, 2 p.m., it's the halfway point. I like this mouth. I like the idea of this gaudy, uncouth, lip-smacking mouth as she gnaws on her steak. Do I want to add a tongue in there, actually? Sometimes the sketch is especially, like, it has better, I don't know why I use the word especially. But it has, sometimes the sketch usually has, like, better properties, I find, than the line art, because you can kind of just, like, look at it and see what you were intending to do, and it's fuzzy enough to, like, there's lines all over the dang place. But with line art, it's more solid. Just put that down. And this. I don't like to do that, where I put two lines, like, touching each other. When it comes to anatomy of hooves, usually just subscribe to the school of rubber hoses. You know, just rubber tubes. They just do whatever you want. You know, sometimes I'll actually, like, consider, you know, like, the fact that they kind of hook or whatever. And there's, like, a joint, and they extend outwards, you know. But a lot of the time, it's just a tube. Suction cup tube with ponies, with which ponies just grab onto. Anyways, I got off on a total aside. We're just talking about, you know, content for this channel. I'm very curious to see if anyone is interested in just, like, the raw, unedited process. I mean, I'll edit a little, but, like, not sped up process of just making a comic and just creating art in general. And just have, like, a, you know, like a casual conversation. These are the sort of conversations that I have with friends while I draw. Although, you know, they're usually a little bit more varied because, you know, you get two brains mixed up into that. It's just a big old mess of topics. That's essentially mission accomplished on the line art here. I'm going to go ahead and save. And then I'll just make the dialogue. Struggling just a little tiny bit since I upped the size of the document with the... You know what, I wonder if I could go into my preferences. Where's preferences? Edit? Yeah. General. Performance. Yeah. Give me all that power. See if that helps. Oh yeah, that's way better. I really should have done that at the beginning. Oops. Must have been a fresh install or something. The vegetarian. I'm out of space. Lasso tool is probably the better choice for this. But you're not. Should I actually scale it down? I don't think I should. I will undo that. And I will just move it over and up. And I will take this and push it over. You know what? Riveting content, TJ. Honestly, you know. Eat your heart out, Michael Bay. Good. And see, that's put that into a highlights reel. Best of. TJ moves a bunch of lettering around to fit an "an" into the sentence. Vegetarian meats factory. I wonder if people will get that. You know, I'm like talking about. Although you rarely ever see like steaks and stuff like that, but you know, like the faux meats. I went downtown once, and there was just this enormous lineup of people just crowding around, like just around the block, and just the kind of lineup where you're just like not even sure where like who's even next. It's just like a big tube of people, and I was just like, what on earth is like at the front of this line? Some kind of like celebrity or something? But what it was is one of those like new next generation scientifically formulated like fake meats that simulated the like the stringy texture, like the protein structure of meat. It's probably the wrong choice of word, but you get what I mean. So it like not only does it vaguely taste like meat, but more importantly, it's like meat in your mouth, and it presumably behaves that way. Anyways, people were lining up to try it, and you know, I didn't get to try it. I'm not waiting in that lineup, and I think they probably would have run out before the people, you know, even approaching the middle got to the front. But you know, stuff to look forward to. you know. Anything that gives people more options for food is, you know, A-okay in my book. I mean, you know, unless I'm talking about, like, eating people, which is another topic this comic has bizarrely explored. Okay, so that's the line art essentially done. Oh, you know what? Oops, I messed up. She's talking to herself. I wonder if that's actually funnier. No, that doesn't make sense. It's kind of funny, though. So that's mission accomplished there. And I will... Oh, and this is my big shameful secret reveal. The way that I usually color, quote-unquote, color things in, is to use the magic wand tool. I'm so used to selecting the tail, I selected it this time. I wonder if I should. No. I use the magic wand tool to select what I want. Go modify, expand, roughly 3 pixels or so, just so that I'll zoom in. You can see that it's now expanded, like, past the line. And the reason for that is that, like, if I zoom in real close, you can see that you'll get this white border that is part of the aliasing, because the magic wand tool does not... It stops right around here. So if I, like, I'll give you an example. If I just fill this in with black, right, you can see there's, like, lines, and I just, this drives me nuts, you know? I see this sometimes, and it's just disappointing. And I used to think the only way around it was, like, you know, just to do it all by hand. But this is much easier, and, you know, from, like, an artistic standpoint, it's definitely not the best. I would certainly not recommend people use the fill bucket to just selecting the hair color here. Sometimes I can remember the hex code of Horsewife's hair, which is always 9E, 9E, 9E. Like, I'll pick another comic just at random, like this. Old artwork, huh? Select it, and again, 9E, 9E, 9E. And how about this one? No matter how far back you go, always 90, 90, 90. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the fill bucket. Certainly wouldn't recommend it for stuff like, you know, like paintings or anything that you want anything other than like a big solid block. You know, certainly don't take this kind of stuff as a tutorial. I probably should have said that at the beginning of this. You know, like, this is not like how to draw, because I would never recommend anyone draw the way that I draw. It's quite slapdash, in my opinion. And there's certainly much better artists that I would recommend. Although I hate recommending artists, because I always feel like unless I just give like a comprehensive list of every artist that I like, I'm just being unfair, because it's like, well, what about this artist? Are you saying you hate them? No, it's just like a lot of artists is the problem. Oh, and so this is kind of like my shading, and I just do the exact same thing, and I have actually preserved the marquee that I have here. Or is it called Maquis? Or is that's a faction in Star Trek. It's called, what is it called? Oh, sorry, wait, this one. Tell me. Marquee. Marquet? I don't know. Selection thing. Anyways, I kept that, and I just put another layer up, set it to multiply, and usually what I like to do is I'll just put down a random one, and then I'll play with it to see, you know, like how dark I want it to be. And once I find one I like, I'd say that's better. Just a little darker than I originally picked. And then I like to set it to normal, pick the color, back to multiply, and I'll just go through the rest. And this is where all that kindergarten training comes in. You have to color within the lines. And anyone who does inspect my higher definition artwork will know dang well that I do not always succeed in that venture. Generally, I just like to color in just like one section. Sorry, one side, just like to imply that there's a little bit of a light source or something like that. Just adds a little bit of variety. Go in the mouth here. I could do this on either layer, really, but I'll just stay on the one I'm on just for simplicity's sake. Just color the inside of her mouth. The little fangides. And while we're at it, already zoomed in on that snoopity doop. Color that in. How's that look? Oh, kind of bad, actually. I wonder if maybe a lighter color would be better. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. And then maybe I could do what? Oh, see, this is why I should have... If I want to shade that, I gotta put another multiply layer up. Why is that not working? Do I have a little tiny... Yeah, I do, right there. A little tiny marquee. Ah, that's bad. Later. No. No, I think I just have to leave it as it is. I'm too incompetent to figure out the shading on that one. How about a little reflection? A little Rudolph nose? Nah. Nope. Just gonna leave it alone. If it ain't broke. And I will. Oh, so I guess the outside I'm supposed to be like fat. So I'll just color the inside. And I'm debating whether or not I want to fill in, like normally her coat is just white. So I'm just wondering if I want to keep it that way or make it darker. Her mouth and the steak are too close. In fact, they might even be the same. Sorry, what? Oh. Let's darken the mouth, maybe. That's good. Except... Oops. Let's fix that. This could use a little fixing anyways, so it all works out in the end. And could play with the expression a little. I wonder, what if she had like a... Nah. Nope. How about... Could fill this in. Just this is just like as a rough idea, just to see if I can change my mind about it. It's kind of funny, but maybe not. Versus... Yeah, you know what? I think up higher is better. So, go in there and change it. It's fairly simple to do. The only trick is to make sure that you get the line thickness, excuse me, line thickness approximately right. Ah. Good. I wondered what it was like before. Oh, did I delete it? I must have deleted it. To go back and look at the footage. DJ, what did you do? Where's that layer? Not that I was going to use it. I just wanted to refresh my memory of what it looked like. But I think this is better. And then I wonder... No, still don't like the... I don't know what you call that. Under eye? Whatever. Alright. I'm going to call this Mission Accomplished. So, that's sort of the process of how I go through and make a Horsewife comic. Usually there's quite a few more panels, but it's all essentially the same. Usually I just go through and I do all the sketches, and all the line art, and all the coloring and shading, and all that jazz. And then I go through and fix it all up. So I'll tell you what, I'll give you an extra little behind the scenes, and we'll go save as, PNG1, said save, and we'll go straight to uploads, upload photos, and get to see all of the interesting things that I've saved, like Twilight Sparkle, just powering down some burgers, art. Again, I give a lot of things some weird names, but New Horsewife asks. It's called New Horsewife because I used to have another folder that was a lot more disorganized. And there it is. And I'll stick that right up there. Oh, wait a minute. Get rid of that. Even at double the size, it's not actually that big. I'm okay with that. There's not a huge amount of mistakes. So it is currently 9 p.m., which is a little late, I think, to be posting an update. And tomorrow's Saturday, so I'll give everyone a little treat. And I will schedule this to go up on September 22nd. About Tumblr's time zone is 9, 10, 11, 12. 3 hours behind mine. So if I want it to go up at noon, I'll say... How about, actually, I'll put it up at like 11. So let's say 2 p.m. Oops. 2 o'clock p.m. And schedule. And we gotta make one more correction because I forgot to add the tag story, which is how the if you go to the Horsewife website, schedule, you can read it for the start, and you can see that it's the address is tagged story chronologically, and you can go through and see them, in the order. Oh man, is that ever terrible! Gosh, I don't even want to look at my old drawings. Anyways, that was TJ Draws Ponies, the show where sometimes TJ draws ponies.